Hey guys, today I'm back with a brand new video for my channel. It's actually going to be part 2 of my new series, The Armoury. I know it was a bit delayed coming, I apologize for that, I've been a bit busy, but here is part 2. And in this episode, I was originally going to go over the CUDA, but I decided that an episode I had planned for later on, I'll just bring out now, because it would make more sense in the grand scheme of things. It's basically going to be how to improve your aim. I'm not going to say how to improve your aim like me, because I have a very average shot at best. It's just some general tips I've learned along the way, just to kind of improve your aim, warm up your shot for big games. And yeah, it's helped me, I guess, calm my nerves and improve as a player, as I've been grinding over the last, year and a half. So tip number 1 is going to be a very general tip, one you probably expect to hear, and it's just grinding the game. Like anything in life, the more you play Call of Duty, the more you get used to how guns feel, how the mechanics feel, how aiming and stuff on your sensitivity feels, the better you're going to get at it. Because the more you do it, you start building muscle memory in your hands, and you start, realizing that you don't even need to think about aiming anymore. It's just second nature. You just do it. You just snap on targets. You instantly know how much you've got to move your hands, how much you've got to move your thumbs to actually snap onto your targets. So yeah, tip number 1 is just grind the hell out of this game. Because as they say, the people who play the most hours generally tend to be the better players in this game, because they just know the ins and outs of the game. They know the secret tips. They know the little things like positioning and stuff, which other people don't know about if they don't play the game as much. But yeah, tip number 1, grind the shit out of this game. Can't put it in any other way. Moving on to tip number 2, and that is going to be bot lobbies. Now, bot lobbies, if you don't know what they are, is essentially going to a private match. You put on a relatively small to medium-sized map, put on a ton of bots, get radar always on, and you just run around and you shoot them. Usually, I just like to use guns. I genuinely would use in competitive play, so I usually pick the top 3 subs, the top 3 ARs, and I just kind of rotate between them in between lives. Usually try to get about 50 to 100 kills with each of them, trying to warm up my shot with each gun. But essentially, yeah, you just put on bots, you go around and shoot them. Now, one tip I will say, if you are going to use this technique, is do not pre-aim everything. You can pre-aim sometimes, but generally in-game, you're not going to know where everybody is, unless you've got a hater or a UAV, or if you're playing competitive, you're good call-outs, or you're good at predicting. So, generally, you're not going to know where people are, so it's much more beneficial to kind of look at bots and then snap onto them instead of just pre-aiming them, because, as I say, in-game, you're not going to know where people are, and having a good snapshot is a lot better than having a good, I don't know, pre-aim shot. But yeah, it still do pre-aim, just not as much in bot lobbies, as it's not as beneficial as, working on your snapshot, working on snapping on bots, etc. Now, tip number 3 on how to improve your aim is essentially the same thing as tip number 2, just with kind of a twist on it. You are still playing against bots on the same style, so small map, lots of bots, and radar was on. But this time you're going to bump up your sensitivity by maybe 1 or 2 sensitivity, not too much, just a little bit of a bump up, and turn your aim assist off. Now, if you don't know what aim assist is, aim assist, basically when you aim at an enemy or a target, it'll slightly slow down your aim and kind of drag it towards the target a bit more. It's just to help you aim, because with analog sticks are not nearly as precise as a mouse, for example, on the computer, so it just helps you aim more precisely with analog sticks. As I say, they're not as precise as a mouse will ever be, so that is why aim assist is there. But what this is going to do is it's actually going to train your shot to be able to snap targets without the aim assist. Now, originally when you do this, it's going to feel really strange. You're not really going to be able to hit things very well at all. But once you start getting used to it, you start consistently hitting a few bullets to start taking out targets at a relatively decent time. It'll actually become really beneficial to you. I usually use this to quickly warm up before a game. I don't use it all the time. Like, if you're going for a long warm up, I suggest just sticking to the tip number 2. But if you want a quick, efficient warm up, I suggest doing this, because as soon as you turn your aim assist back on and you put your sensitivity back to normal, the game is initially going to feel quite slow to you a little bit. Your aiming is going to feel a bit more sluggish, but then you'll just start snapping on things. It'll feel really fluent and fluid, I should say, not fluent. It should feel really fluid. And yeah, it's just a little tip I learned in Advanced Warfare from one of my old teammates, and it has really helped me in warming up for big games, and I generally use it pretty much most days. Now, tip number 4 is kind of a mentality to have when playing Call of Duty, and what I mean by that is, instead of, when you see an enemy at a distance who's not looking at you, or maybe they've run right past you, take the time to just aim onto them and then just take them out quickly with a few bullets. Don't go wasting ammo spraying as they run past you, because one, if you do miss all your bullets, they could potentially just turn around and just destroy you. That has happened many a times to me. But yeah, if the enemy doesn't see you, just take the time to aim at them precisely and just take them out with a few bullets. 1, it saves ammo. 2, it doesn't reveal your position for too long on the minimap. As I say, when you shoot on the minimap, unless you have a silencer, you give away position to everyone on the enemy team. So just taking the time just to pace your shots to make sure you're actually hitting your target can really save you in the long run. Obviously, if an enemy runs straight in front of you and you both just see each other and you both just, you know, you're not aiming outside, you just both run into each other, then obviously by all means spray and try and snap onto them as quickly as possible, because you obviously, some of your hipfire bullets should hit them if you are within a relatively close distance. So yeah, if you do get panicked and like rushed, then obviously just spray and pray and, you know, try and snap onto them. But if they're at a distance and they're not looking at you, just take the time just to pace your shots and time your shots onto them, because 1, you're not wasting bullets, 2, you're not giving them a position, and 3, you're not giving them the chance to turn on you if you miss all your bullets and you end up having to reload. Now, my final tip for you guys is more of a decision. This tip is by no means necessary. I mean, it's all down to personal preference, and it is going to be potentially using control freaks. Now, if you don't know what control freaks are, I did do a review on mine back when I got them near the end of Advanced Warfare, and essentially they're like extensions to your analog stick, which kind of makes them easier to aim with them, as they either makes them larger, makes them flatter, changes the shape of them, and they can potentially help you aim, as it makes it a little bit more smoother to use, I find. But this is, again, all down to personal preference. If you do not like control freaks, then don't use them, because obviously it's not going to improve your aim if you don't enjoy using them, you don't like using them. Now, for me, I'm a perfect example of this. On the PS4, I love using my control freak, because when I play claw on the PS4, because I play claw, if you don't know what claw is, you have your index finger stretched across the front panel of your controller to press the front buttons, you know, your X, your square, your circle, etc. The standard PS4 stick for me feels too small, and I end up having to arch my thumb over the front of my index finger, and then it becomes like really kind of stressful on the like bridge of my thumb, and it really hurts. So having the control freak to just make my thumbstick bigger and reduce the amount of cramp I get in my hand as I'm playing claw really does help, and also it does help me aim at distance as well, because obviously the larger the analog stick, the more smaller movements you can make without being too harsh on screen. And yeah, control freak on PS4, 100% I'd recommend it. That's just me personally. Whereas on Xbox, I don't like the control freak. I do not like it. I feel like the analog sticks are fine the size they are, and when I play claw and I have the control freak on it, I feel like it's too big. It's the opposite. My thumb having to arch upwards, and then it's putting the same stress just on a different part of my thumb. So this is all down to personal preference. Control freaks, I'd recommend to you just to give them a try. If they do work for you, then great. They can really be a massive aid if they work for you. If not, then just stick to your standard analog sticks and follow the other tips I gave you. But anyway, guys, that is going to bring us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and all cool stuff. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys, and goodbye.